Hi guys, so I'm so excited about this video because I've collaborated with Sleek Makeup to create this Cleopatra inspired makeup look. I am using a few of their new products from their Halloween Hotspot collection, which are out now, but if you'd like to know how I got this look, then keep on watching. So let's jump straight in. I've already primed my skin with the Control and Shine primer, and I'm starting off with the eyes, and I'm using the corrector and concealer palette in the shade 03, and taking the lighter shade, I'm just applying this all over my eyes as a base with a brush and taking it up to the brow bone also, and then I'm just going to use my finger to blend it into the skin to make sure that there's not too much concealer sitting on top of the eyes, and this is just going to act as a base for our eyeshadows to make sure that they sit really nicely over the top of our eyes and blend well. Then I'm going in with this flesh toned colour, actually called Flesh, from the Ultra Matte V2 palette, and this is just going on a big fluffy brush, and I'm just blending this through the crease and a bit above it, and this is going to be our transitional blending shade, so anything kind of skin tone is great for this. It's just something that everything else is going to blend into. And then I'm going in with the All Night Long palette, and I really love this palette. It's so good and versatile. But yeah, I'm taking the shade Negroni, I think that's how you say it, and it's a matte brown eyeshadow, and on a tapered blending brush I am just taking this through the crease, and I'm really just focusing it there and building it up and blending it. And as you can see, I'm just wiggling it around in small circular motions, and then always going back in with my big fluffy blending brush just to make sure everything is seamless. Then from the same palette, I'm taking the shade Champagne, which is a really nice light gold eyeshadow. And this is just going on the inner corner of the eye. So you want to imagine the eye is kind of cut up into 3 pieces. So this first shadow is going to go in the first third of the eye, and then this second shadow from the same palette, which is called Prosecco, is going to go in the center of the eye. It's a bit of a deeper gold and it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just placing this with a flat shader brush onto the center of the eye. And for the third section of the eye, I've gone into the original palette, and I'm taking this gorgeous metallic aqua bluey kind of shade, and as you can see, I'm placing this onto the outer corner of the eye only, and I'm just patting this on. These shadows are so highly pigmented, oh my god, it's unbelievable. You can really see how vibrant the colours are as soon as you put them on, but as you can see, I'm kind of just like feathering it into that gold shade really lightly and not applying too much pressure as I do so. And just to get that nice blending gradient, I'm using this light blue metallic shade from that same original palette and just going in between the gold and that aqua colour, and as you can see, really lightly just feathering the two together to get a beautiful blend. Then for gel liner, this is the Ink Pot in the shade Dominatrix, but yeah, it's just a black gel liner, and I'm just taking this in short feathery motions and going all the way across my lash line, and then creating a really nice sharp and bold wing. And then I'm just elongating it on the inner corners. I'm using the new Dip It eyeliner from the collection. It's got a really nice fine tip to work with. It's super black and super matte, so it's just how I like my eyeliner. And as you can see, it's super smudge proof, but I went between using the wand and a fine liner brush to create a really nice sharp wing on the inner corners by tilting my head to the side to do this. And then going back into the original palette again, I'm just taking this black eyeshadow, which is called Black Cab, and on an angled brush I am just going into my crease and connecting it up with that winged liner. I'm not taking it all the way along my crease, you can see I'm just taking it about halfway in. And then going back in with the brown eyeshadow that we used earlier, Negroni, from the All Night Long palette, I'm just feathering this along that black eyeshadow, just to blend it out and not make it look too harsh, and yeah, we just want to make sure everything looks blended. So I'm going back in with a tapered blending brush with no extra product on it whatsoever, and just making sure everything is soft and seamless and it's all connected with that winged liner. Moving on to foundation, I've got my cream to powder foundation in the shade Bamboo, and I'm just using a large buffing brush to buff this all over my skin, and I really like the coverage of this. I think it was so good. It's really easily buildable and it's sets nice and matte, so we don't want any shiny or oily skin for this look, and it just works really well with the primer that we used earlier. I'm also just bouncing my damp beauty blender along the skin just to make sure that there's no streaky marks from the foundation brush and everything is blended. And then for concealer, I'm going back to the corrector and concealer palette in the shade 03, and I'm applying this underneath my eyes, and I'm mixing the two concealer shades together. And when I'm highlighting around the face, I'm just putting a little bit more of the brighter concealer shade, obviously to brighten. So this is just going down the bridge of my nose, cupid's bow, chin, forehead, and obviously underneath my eyes to highlight, and then just blending it all out with my damp beauty blender sponge. And then I'm just using the yellow toned powder that comes in the same corrector and concealer palette, and I'm just patting this over any of the areas that I've highlighted and concealed just now. And this is such a good palette because it's literally everything all in one, and it's so good to travel with. But anyway, moving back onto the eyes now, I'm using a pencil brush and that same aqua kind of shadow that we used on the outer corners of our eyes, and this is just going along the lash line, and I'm doing this quite thick because we want this to be quite smoky and we want the eyes to appear really, really nice and large. So the thicker on the lower lash line, the better. And then I'm just using the black eyeshadow, Black Cab, to go over that, and then again going back in with the same pencil brush that we used the aqua shade to just blend those two shadows both together and make it look nice and smoky. Then using the cream contour kit in the shade medium, I'm taking that first shade on the lower kind of line to bronze up my skin. I wanted to add a bit of like texture back into my skin. I didn't want it to look too matte everywhere, so using cream products is great for this. I just applied this in the hollows of my cheeks and on my temples to add a bit of colour back in. And then to contour, I'm using the darker shade from the same palette, and I'm just placing this in the hollows of my cheeks, as you can see, also on my temples, and then I did do my nose, but I did it afterwards. But yeah, I'm also just taking this along my jawline, and then I decided to blend it all out using my beauty blender sponge, just to make sure everything looks seamless. And yeah, I like blending out cream contour this way rather than with a brush, because I feel like it just pulls the product around far too much. So yeah, using a sponge is great. As you can see, I did contour my nose too. And then I'm using the new Sleek MakeUp Cleopatra's Kiss highlighting palette, and oh my god, it's to die for. So this palette has two cream highlighters and two powder highlighters, and I'm using the golden kind of creamy highlighter first, and I'm just patting this over the top of my cheekbones with my fingers. And the great thing about this is that it does go really nicely over powder, so if you've already powdered your face and then you want to apply this cream, it works beautifully. And then just to enhance that highlight further, I'm using the golden powder highlight and then a bit of that lighter shade in there too on a fan brush, just going over the tops of my cheekbones. And oh my god, honestly, it's amazing. Like, a little bit of this really does go a long way, but I like a hell of a lot of highlights, so yeah, I wanted to apply loads. But I just brushed this on the highest points of my face and down the centre, so down the bridge of my nose, also just on my cupid's bow and chin, forehead, all of the usual places that you would highlight. And then for blusher, I've got the shade Pomegranate, and these are so pigmented as well, so just be careful with how much you apply on your brush. I only wanted a little bit of this just to bring some colour back into my skin, so if that does happen, just go back in with your damp beauty blender just to make sure everything blends out beautifully. And then for mascara, I've got this volumizing mascara from Sleek, and I just applied a few coats of this onto my top lashes, and I did also apply some onto my bottom lashes. You really want the eyes to be the focus of this look, so go ahead and add false lashes like I did off camera, or just build up that mascara until you are happy with it. Finally for lips, I took this nude lip palette in the shade Ballet, and taking one of the lighter shades, I applied this all over with a lip brush, and then I wanted to warm it up slightly, so I'm taking the new Lip VIP lipstick in the shade Show Off, and this is what it looks like on its own. This is also from the new Halloween Hotspot collection, and they have two other shades also, so do make sure you check them out because they're so gorgeous. But yeah, I wanted to customize a nude lip to suit me. But this is the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, follow me on all my social media, and thank you for watching. Mwah. Bye!